This video is sponsored by Sakurako. Alright, so we got the 429 spoilers, and there is only one chapter remaining in the series after this point. Wow, that's pretty crazy, but in this chapter we're seeing the confrontation, the showdown between Izuku and Uraraka. It's like, did they get together? You know, what's going on with them? Well, we're gonna find out. So the chapter begins with a narration by the mysterious character. He says that when they discovered that his quirk was a mutation, all of his family members started treating him very nicely. Soon afterwards, however, they locked him in an underground room in their house. It's a mutation as in like Aries, where it's not something he inherited from his parents. Okay, so this is really interesting. We're going back to that, as it says here, mysterious character that we saw like 4 or 5 chapters back, where he was like walking through the city crying, and he pretty much looked like a villain, you know, with the bandages and everything. And I thought at least that maybe he was this new, you know, big Shigaraki level villain that they were alluding to, you know, as to one replacing him essentially. And now we're finally coming back to him. His mouth was tied up and he was kept locked in there. Scared as he cried nonstop. One day, some years later, his family started shouting, "This country is doomed," and threw him some bread to eat and never showed up again. Later, an explosion hit the house and destroyed part of the underground, allowing him to leave. After so long, the sunlight hurt and he didn't know where to go. He had felt left alone and scared for all these years, but outside people were smiling and working together. Why? So this is like his tragic backstory. He had a variant quirk. Since Rukasu says it's like Aries, that means it's like a quirk that never existed before. He didn't get it from his parents. It was kind of just like an anomaly. Pretty sure it's not being explained what it is. I'm not sure if we can see contextual clues, but he got locked away. He was pretty much a prisoner until, I guess, most recently with the war, and he was able to get out of there. And now he's kind of just been wandering, I guess. Cut to Uraraka as she remembers Toga's final words. Uraraka tells herself that she's only alive thanks to Himiko's death and starts to cry. But Deku arrives. Uraraka tries to hide her tears and cover up, asking how he got there, and Deku says he used one for all. Deku says that this is the place where they had a special talk, and that he thought Ochako would be there. Ochako says she didn't want to be seen, but Deku says that she was acting weird and that since the entrance exam, she has always prioritized others over herself. As he says this, we see a montage of many Uraraka scenes from earlier in the series as Deku starts to cry. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Sakurako. Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local Japanese snack makers, and each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese tea and a special Japanese tableware. They also come with these great booklets that give you information on all the snacks in the box, as well as Japan and its culture. This month's box is Islands of Okinawa. Japan's southernmost prefecture, Okinawa, is renowned for its pristine beaches, lush landscapes, and captivating history. This month, Sakurako invites you to traverse Okinawa's sun-soaked islands and savor the rich and authentic delicacies found amongst the region. Enjoy a taste of Japan's tropical paradise in this month's box. And this month's tableware item is the Kingyo Minoware plate. So first I tried the tea that we get every month with Sakurako, and this month it's the Sanpin tea. It has this nice unique floral flavor to it, which is because the tea leaves were fermented. Next I tried this vanilla cream waffle cookie. It has a great crunchy texture to it with this nice vanilla cream that has a subtle hint of Okinawan sea salt in it. Then I tried these wasabi sesame arare. I personally love wasabi flavored things, and this really hit. The spiciness is subtle, but it has so much flavor. So guys, if you want to get an amazing Sakurako box this month for you or your loved one, it also makes a great gift. Please check the link in the description, and also make sure you use code Zhoniin for $5 off your box. Thanks guys. Uraraka has always saved Deku, like with Black Whip and during the Dark Hero arc. You're my hero, so I don't want to rely on your strength forever. Holding someone's hand can put your heart at ease. Did you know that? Deku then offers his hand for Ochako to hold. Ochako holds Deku's hand and starts crying even harder. Himiko died because of me. If I hadn't been stabbed, Her quirk allowed her to give her blood to anyone. Couldn't she have been found sooner? If I'd known her when we were children, would things have been different? So yeah, this goes back to pretty much everything we talked about in the previous chapter. Only real additional is that it is straight up being said that Toga is dead here. Before it was kind of just implied, but yeah, Uraraka is like confirming 100%, 1000% here that she is straight up dead because of the blood transfusion that she gave to Uraraka at the end of the war. And we even talked about what she was having this big internal conflict with about as well. You know, what if she met Toga when she was a child and, you know, led her on the path of becoming a hero, and vice versa, since Toga is kind of just a victim of circumstance with her being born with her quirk and the way that her family was. Deku says that he's been thinking the same thing about Tenko. The consequences of this war will be different compared to the previous, and All For One warned him that this is a thorny path, but he's sure that if he keeps reaching out even when it's none of their business, one day. The rest of the class then arrives, saying they're worried about Ochako. Tsuyu hugs her and Bakugo asks if the Emperors are still there, since he just used One For All. Deku says that they are, and the rest of the students ask why he didn't tell them about the Emperors to begin with. Deku's narration. One For All was completed through the heroism of many people. Now, if we can all create something together, we see that one of the UA statues has been replaced by one of Monoma, and he's bragging about it. Then we see Eri singing at Aoyama's farewell party. So yeah, going back to this Embers stuff. At the end of the final fight between Izuku and Shigaraki, Izuku like transferred most of One For All to Shigaraki in order to defeat him, which left him with only these embers, as it says, which is pretty much the same thing that All Might was running off of when we first met him in like the beginning of the series, up until the point of where he fought All For One and used the United States of Smash. Now, I don't think Izuku has that many embers, because the way that they're treating it here, it seems like he's running on empty, essentially. So I think he maybe even only has enough left for like one full-blown fight. Other than that, it seems like he can only do hero activity stuff sparsely, or he can just go full calling only a little bit, maybe every day. Cut to All Might telling Hawks that he wants to expand the Billboard chart because several people who aren't heroes helped in the war. They're thinking of creating a new title that is different from the industrialized heroes and reflect on how there can be many greatest heroes. This new title would be Ayu, the Japanese word for hero. So far in the story, they've used the English-like version of the word hero. Cut to the mysterious character looking at the people around him and wondering why only he has to suffer. A black liquid then starts to come out of his fingers, but the old lady from Tenko's flashback says Sonny and holds his hand. The lady thinks to herself that she doesn't know if the boy was saved by the heroes and often loses sleep over it. She also says that after what Izuku Midoriya did that day, everyone felt like they needed to do something. It's fine now because Grandma's here. The boy looks at the old lady and starts to cry. Deku and Uraraka were watching from a distance and they smile as the old lady reaches out to the boy. The chapter ends with a quote from Hawks. A society where heroes have too much spare time. Okay, so that's actually kind of sweet, Horikoshi. So instead of Izuku having to come in and save the day and us seeing this big showdown with the new villain, it actually resolves itself because of the actions that Izuku and the rest of the heroes took in the war. As we saw previously, Tenko being exiled the way that he was with his quirk and the manifestation of it and the circumstances around it, he was rejected by the people around him, and that eventually led him to the gaslighting of All For One. In this sequence, we see another potential Shigaraki level threat in a similar situation, except this time, he's being embraced by essentially the same woman that rejected Shigaraki in the first place, but because of the war and what Izuku did, she's changed. And now it's prevented another Shigaraki from breaking out. That's pretty cool, Horikoshi. I'm not mad at this. I like it. But we'll go over this chapter way more in detail, I think Saturday. So let me know what you think about it in the comments in the meantime. And if you liked the video, guys, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.